All right, let's talk SNL, man. That's why KT, Kevin Turner, is here, because he's stoked on SNL. We did the SNL draft, as you recall. I'm in his SNL league.
How'd that all turn out?
Great.
Was it a big payoff?
I mean, how'd it turn out? We're still going. What are you talking about?
Still happening.
Yeah.
Hey, who won your SNL bracket the other day?
Will Ferrell.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Not much of a sleeper.
You know, everything doesn't have to be a bracket.
No, trust me, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you make everything into a bracket.
Do I?
What seed was he?
I don't feel like I haven't done a bracket in years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he feels
Maybe
like
it's
he's
just the
being
Ben and Skin
attacked.
show.
I get.
Now they mute his
Plug that
mic.
thing back in.
What happened?
You have to plug it back in.
Nah, see, I get
Low
lumped into
budget
so
there.
much stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not you.
There's a lot of negative perceptions about me that are really not fair.
Was Will Ferrell the one seed?
He was one of the one seeds.
Okay. Well,
There's many. Once Eddie Murphy was another one seed.
took the chalk.
Dan, though, on the board in the SNL fantasy draft with his Gracie Abrams pick.
His?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely is. He loves Gracie Abrams and her music.
Hell yeah.
Who is this?
I can't wait.
TC not on the board, and he's in danger of being relegated.
You've got relegation in this.
Oh yeah, if you're last place, you're out. Yeah, because there's so many people who are dying to get in the league.
I've been waiting forever, honestly.
I think you guys should get in next year
Yeah, save me a spot.
with me.
See if you can stave off TC.
Anyway, overall, my view, long, like you said. But overall enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's just member berries, right? It's seeing a lot of the stars in the
I will say this,
It was
man.
very impressive who was in the crowd.
So impressive. And that hit for me on Friday night because we watched most of the music thing too.
Yeah, the concert was dope.
And it hit me like I've never seen this many famous people in one place in my life. Like even the Oscars. Because at the Oscars, if you look around, every other table is full of people you don't recognize. You know, there'd be a table with this, then there's these dorks. But at the SNL concert and in the crowd last night, it was basically every person. You're like, in the beginning, even before they cut to him, just paused it, scanned the crowd in the open. I'm like, that's Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Why is Peyton Manning sitting behind Kevin Costner and next to Larry David?
It's very weird. The seating chart, I definitely want to see the blueprint of that. I even watched like the red carpet show.
I recorded it.
It was a give up. And John Mulaney said something that I thought was really good. He said, I've been on a lot of red carpets, but this one is actually like everyone's talented. Because we're at a point where a lot of people are just famous for being famous. We don't know why. We live in a Mr. Beast and Drewski world. And no, I don't know what Drewski does, but I see him everywhere.
Plays basketball.
You know, so it is like these are actually people who have all accomplished a lot of things. And it is weird that there's some people there. Like I don't know that Costner has a lot of direct ties to SNL, so I just think it's weird that he's chosen to be there. But you know, it's a lot. It was packed in there last night. That was a lot of fun.
I was reading about how the SNL, the after party was like an exclusive event. It was 300 people was a limit or something like that. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
Like it's just the hardest party to get into. Even people who were on the show might not get in. Or some.
You're talking about the usual one or last night's?
Last night's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like maybe Piscopo doesn't get into the after party on that last night. It did not open with bit. It opened with song.
Really weird decision.
I thought that was a little bit weird. Paul Simon, though, is like well-known Lorne guy.
Orange Friend, yeah.
Was, big part of the 70s, I guess, shows. Didn't like this version of it. Who was he with?
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter. I prefer the version by Justin Theroux in The Leftovers.
Okay.
Did you do Leftovers?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember when he was singing that?
Karaoke, yeah.
Yeah.
It is weird that the SNL 50 first joke is from Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I thought that it was a holdover from the red carpet thing or something. Like, why are they? There's no cold open. It's not. Sabrina Carpenter's been famous for like a year.
So I watched SNL 40 yesterday morning just to rehash my memory, and they opened with a big Justin Timberlake, Jimmy Fallon, high energy
Yeah,
thing. So I was
that's what
kind of
you've
hitting the
seen.
downer thing with this.
Yeah, I thought they might do bit. I was thinking, so I was trying to predict it in my head. They would do all the surviving cast members: Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Jane Curtin, Garrett Morris, Lorraine Newman. They would put them in a bit together. And I wonder if they thought about that, but then as you see them all throughout the show, although wait, I'm trying to think of where was Chevy anywhere?
He was there, but yeah,
Not really in a skit, right?
no. Because I don't think you can do anything with him anymore.
Yeah.
That must be the reason, because obviously he was in a TV show fairly recently. 5, is that a decade now?
It's now,
Community?
by the time they get, 10 plus years.
Garrett Morris at the end was just sitting in a chair, so I'm thinking there's some mobility issues with Garrett Morris. And they're like 80, so
Yeah.
maybe they just weren't able to do a bit with those 5. Lorraine
Aykroyd-
Newman did a thing where she walked around. That was funny.
Yeah, that was cool. Aykroyd wasn't there,
Why?
apparently, and I don't know
Oh,
why.
okay.
why.
Maybe there's
Yeah.
But-
health issues.
You know, he got to do his thing at the 40th with Bassomatic, and it was not that great. So, the other one, Bill Hader was also not there, but he also had to evacuate his home 2 weeks ago in California.
Oh, wow.
So he said he politely declined the invitation.
Bill Hader wasn't there?
Yeah.
Now that you
weird-
say that, that does stand out.
They
'Cause
had
he's-
what? Was he in a pre-recorded bit?
They did a commercial. There was a commercial. I forget what the client was. It was the Californians.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, so the Jason Sudeikis bit with Kate McKinnon, maybe.
Which
What there was? I thought there was a crowd bit with Jason Sudeikis. Maybe it was Will Forte. I think it was
Will Forte and
I confuse all three of those guys, to be honest with you. In your computers now.
yeah, it's all right.
Not
Will
a person.
Forte and Jason Sudeikis were part of the John Mulaney New York musical.
Yeah. Which
But-
Mulaney's done that bit at least the last time he was on, maybe more. Very long musical about New York City. Kind of a beat. Not just the show was really long. The sketches were really long.
The sketches were too long. No, there's no doubt.
even the songs,
Yeah.
the Sandler song, which is great. We could play some of it if you want, but it was 5.5 minutes. The McCartney song at the end was 5.5 minutes.
It's 5.5 minutes I skipped.
I didn't understand, well, I think Miley and Brittany Howard are great. They got a song at the concert Friday night.
Yeah.
I didn't know why you had to do that. I didn't really understand the Lil Wayne thing either.
Well, I can tell you this about Lil Wayne. To anybody who is still bitching and moaning that they went with Kendrick Lamar instead of a Louisiana artist like Lil Wayne, I think you saw why. He's awful at this point.
Yeah.
Like, the guy's enough drugs, enough living. You put him up there, it's a joke. He was embarrassing.
The 40th, and I only know this because I watched it yesterday morning, the 40th felt more like looking back at the history of the show, where last night felt like looking back at the last 10 years of the show.
Well, I mean, they worked in. Yeah, I guess it wasn't looking back at the history as much as it was let's work in some of the guys. Like Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy was in a couple bits.
Yeah.
Not enough Eddie Murphy for me.
Boy, he's awesome.
He is awesome.
His Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan impression is nails.
I
He
didn't
did
know
Black
he had-
Jeopardy, imitated Tracy Morgan on Black Jeopardy, but he was in another bit too.
He was
Oh,
in the Scared
prison-
Straight bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keenan and Will Ferrell.
I would
as
have I
Big
would have
Red.
liked to see a Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood like at his age now or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Steve Martin opening, obvious choice, I guess. Especially when you put it against another multi-time host. You put Alec Baldwin later, and he seems like he's older than Steve Martin, yet he's got to be 20 years younger, right?
A murder charge will.
But he
age you.
seems a little rough.
Yeah, no, and I thought by contrast, I out loud when Steve Martin was wrapping up, I'm like, he's got it.
He's 79.
Yeah, and he
Baldwin's
was just
66.
very much on top of his stuff.
Okay, yeah, no. Baldwin seems like he's fallen apart, and Steve Martin is as good as ever, it feels like.
Yeah,
Again,
and Steve Martin was the monologue host for the 40th too. So I thought they would do maybe Eddie Murphy or someone different, Al Baldwin, whatever. So I thought that was a little strange, but that's an easy move because Steve Martin's good. I did like John Mulaney coming out and having the joke that the hosts are the heart of the show, and it's the most difficult people, but that only 2 of the 894 hosts of the show have murdered someone.
That's very good.
Which I was like, hold on.
Who is it? Robert Blake?
Yeah.
Robert Blake and OJ.
Yeah.
And I got to think here. I think it's more because now it's technically not murder, but Matthew Broderick absolutely killed someone, and no one really talks about it.
Car accident?
Car accident. And did Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner ever host? Let me search.
Bruce Jenner has to have.
It feels like, yeah.
Because, that person died in that car accident, I think.
Why did it take you 4 times to spell Bruce?
I think I...
Why'd you just blow up his spot?
You just had to retype Bruce?
No, because I spelled it as Caitlyn first.
Literally, no one would have known.
Well, it was funny to me.
Yeah, I do think Caitlyn Jenner
There
killed
you go. You
someone,
got
though.
it. Look at it.
Like all this, yeah. I don't know. But 2 of 894, that's not...
I mean, unless you want to count like indirect ones, like presidents, who
But, like-
wipe out like entire.
In your life, you've met 894 people. How many of them have killed somebody? That might be a gummy thought.
I got a few. I got
a couple too, but...
Military counts.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well...
Cool.
Oh, you guys
murder,
just don't
Is that murdering?
count.
If you're doing it for America,
he
is that
flipped
murder?
around on me.
Yeah, it's great. Like, it's not a crime if you're doing it for
That's just
America either.
protecting these borders, my friend.
A lot of Amy Poehler.
Too much Amy Poehler is what we like to say over here.
Yeah,
In
that's what I-
fact,
what a
really a sad situation that you like. Look, I'm sorry, Tina. That why do I need to have Amy Poehler every time I'm seeing Tina Fey?
Now I know how Skin
Tina Fey
feels.
holds it on her own.
I don't know that she does.
That was a good joke, and you guys are just gonna act like I didn't just. Ben would have appreciated that. Anyways, yes, it's a beating.
Too much Amy Poehler.
I
for
think
sure.
I might be okay with Tina Fey, maybe, but I'll never know because there's
just
so
wanna
much
make fun
Amy
of me.
Poehler mixed in.
Yeah, there's just too much Amy Poehler. Yes, just take a look at their 2 shows against each other, and you'll see. One's brilliant, and one's just
Man, I hard disagree.
And I think my opinion of Amy Poehler got worse after the documentary. Because the documentary, Dan, episode 1, and it is worth your time. The first
it's great.
episode is just about auditions. And I totally get this. Like, I'm forced to listen to audio of when I was an intern every now and then. Nobody wants to do it, but she couldn't watch it. She started crying. And I'm like, you pussy.
yeah.
What's the point of the show?
It was a good opening bit. Will Ferrell, I thought, the Robert Goulet bit. And then
Didn't
you
say
got
the
to see-
N-word.
I know, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I was surprised they did Robert Goulet just because of what happened.
Yeah, that's the infamous
Big Papa.
Speaking of not saying,
another.
speaking of not saying the N-word,
Yeah.
we were all on the edge of our seats, I think. So did you see the In Memoriam?
Thought that was a brilliant bit.
Beautiful.
So the In Memoriam was in memoriam of comedy we can't do anymore, whether it's racial stereotypes or
Sexual assault,
Me Too stuff,
Yeah.
Body shaming.
pedophilia,
Yeah.
at least inferences.
Canteen boy.
Yeah. So that was really funny. But then they're leading up, and the very end is Chevy Chase and Richard Pryor going back and forth. And there's, one of the all-time legendary bits where they're calling each other names back and forth, and it ends with Chevy Chase calling him an N. And then, that's when Richard Pryor had already called him a honky. Then he said dead honky, and that's the punchline. And they did beep it out. They
beeped it out, and for a very meta experience, all of the America, what they were feeling last night, that's what I was feeling just now.
He's about to do it. He might do
Is he
it.
going to say it?
Is he going to say it?
No.
You know what I thought was funny on the In Memoriam is there was a lot of faces blurred out, which I assume just means they were doing blackface.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because
really?
I don't think there's any.
Yeah, that's what that was.
There's no people they have to blur out. You guys notice that? There's towards the end of it, there's a whole bunch of scenes where just the faces are pixelated, and it's kind of dark.
And there's a bunch of
there.
they went with the blackface routine a lot. It seems like too.
Yeah, it was not a quick hit.
In
Who?
Full, Jimmy Fallon
Yeah.
as Chris
Oh,
Rock.
yeah.
Full
That
blackface.
because he got
20 years ago.
he got heat for that during George Floyd. So did Kimmel.
Kimmel,
for Karl
yeah,
Malone.
yeah. Seth and Colbert are like,
Tiny
we would
bit
never.
of heat. Every now and again, the Kimmel thing comes back. The Howard Stern things come back, and
Yeah.
they
A
just
lot
kinda,
of stuff for Kimmel, like man show bits.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Somehow though, he's managed to kind of ride that out. Just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
Kimmel didn't have to diddle that kid in blackface, though. Could have just stopped
Yeah, it
it.
didn't have to be a combo platter.
So speaking of
Method acting, I guess.
too much Amy Poehler, you just mentioned someone else there was too much of. Jimmy Fallon.
There's always too much Jimmy Fallon.
Always too much Jimmy Fallon. His bit is, this is so funny, I'm breaking character. Like he's always on the brink of laughing and then does kind of like, so it's the overselling of how funny this is. It's not really that funny. That's what I think his main bit is.
Did you? Okay, so the homecoming concert Friday night. Did you catch that, Dan? Because
No.
there's a part at the end where they have a quick set change. They got to get someone off the stage, and they're getting Jack White's music set up, his equipment set up. And Jimmy Fallon has to kill about 2 or 3 minutes. And he was fully exposed. Because he's just like, Jack White's setting up. Oh, my God, it's got to be so great. Oh, my God. He didn't know what to do. He had nothing. Dude, you got a room full of people. Start going to them. Or
Get
just
to work.
play to them. Just like, treat it like a red carpet. They're saying, how's it going tonight? Put them on the spot. Or have something. And he was killing time. And he was completely exposed as he was just trying to stretch so they could get Jack White's guitar amp, plugged in.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He's just so fake, If he's a talented dude, it's just be that. But he's always got to be, triple fake.
I did like when Alec Baldwin introed the commercial parodies.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't like seeing quick hit commercial parodies. That's a tough one, just a quick hit.
I know.
But,
It feels like making a montage for the show, too. Where you're like, but the bit's kind of like the payoffs later. How do I edit this?
yeah, but I did like, the member berries of, I had to remember then in my head the whole payoff and the bit.
After update.
But I did like that he introed it, and it was brought to you by After Update, which is, just what was that?
This is a sleep medication.
A sleep medication. Any spot things that are on After Update, and third year veneers, because that's our bit. Is that we want veneers? At least I do, and Jake does. I'm not sure if Blake's in that camp
No,
yet.
I'll
But
keep my teeth.
Year 3 of the Dumb Zone, you'll be able to afford them.
you get to keep your teeth. I think they just put a little something on top of them.
Yeah, they grind your teeth down. I've been
no.
doing a lot of research.
I'm okay.
Yeah. So let us hear from you if you want to hook us up with veneers.
In the third year.
Yeah. Next year. Yeah, that could be the year of Jake.
Yeah.
If we can get you veneers.
You guys think?
What if we get
Yeah.
you veneers
Yeah.
now? Can the year of Jake have started on Feb 15th? If you get veneers like this month. Man. Because that'd be great. That's a life change. And we're all like, dude, they're too big.
I just feel like I appreciate what you're doing,
Why'd you do this?
but I just feel like it's not possible. It's not possible.
To pull this year out
You
of the ditch.
you can't do it.
Dude, let's add a little Botox.
We have 10 and a half months ahead of us. You're saying in that time.
Cowboys Super Bowl, but then we won't know that's the next year. So no, I'm fucked. There's no coming out of this.
Dude, the Rangers are going to be back this year, dude.
Can I play a quick piece of audio,
Yeah.
Blake? Speaking of, I am so sorry.
What?
Big sigh.
I'm old and I
go
gotta
move.
make noises when I get up. Sorry, you're unmuted.
So now we know where Dan gets his inspiration from. This is one of the sketches that Kate McKinnon was in. Oh,
And
you pulled
after
me
all
up.
of that,
What happened?
you didn't even put your source right.
It's on there.
And it's gonna be Kate McKinnon.
And
Man.
I'm tossed into the bottom of the ship. I see my old pals, the gray aliens with the big dumb eyes.
And Mrs. Rafferty, I'm told this is your 5th time being abducted by these gray aliens?
Yeah. Only other place I've been pantsless 5 times is Six Flags.
Okay, well, let's move.
That one went on really long.
Two similarities there, two comedic geniuses, Dan and Kate McKinnon.
What do you mean?
Kate McKinnon's great. Everyone's
I
fighting
know
that,
what you're
really?
doing. I don't know. She's a woman. No.
That's the whole rule, though. That show, if you're not writing sketches for the women, then you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Ask Jay Moore.
Is that what happened to him?
I did. I'm just reading that because Dan told me to read that book. It's great.
You didn't like the book?
The
No, I
SNL
love
book?
it. I love it.
I'm still like
No,
I
the Jay
put it
Moore
down.
Jay Moore
Oh.
book.
He has one just about his 1 year at SNL.
Oh, yeah,
It's wonderful.
interesting. No, I mean I think Kristen Wiig is probably my favorite of that ilk, which I kind of group all them together from that era. But
I
like-
agree. She's the best.
But I was a huge Molly Shannon and Sherry O'Terry fan.
Okay, Molly Shannon had a good night.
She did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are y'all? I mean, I don't know if y'all have watched a lot of this season. Are y'all familiar with the Domingo bit that was going on?
Fill us in.
So it's like they've done this twice this season. So I was very surprised that it made last night's episode. And it's Chloe Fineman and Andrew Dismukes are married, but in the second episode of this season, she hooked up with Marcelo Hernandez, the little short guy, Domingo, and they do a little sing-song thing. Goes huge on TikTok or whatever. Blows up. They bring it back like 3 or 4 weeks later. And they brought it back last night for the third incarnation of this bit they've already done this season, just because it had legs online. But Molly Shannon was like grinding on Bad Bunny and playing, she was basically playing her role from Talladega Nights, where she's
drunk and
getting vibrated
slutty.
onto the NASCAR wall.
She's very good.
She was funny.
She's very good at that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bad Bunny,
Hey, his album's good, dude.
did Bad Bunny make a real album?
Yeah, it's good. Well,
Because he played Friday night at the SNL the concert, and we were talking about it. Everybody's all messed up. We're like, it's not Bad Bunny's music. It's a cover. He put out like a real Latin album, and it's good.
yeah.
And I guess he was in a couple sketches in last night. At
They
least.
love Bad Bunny. Yeah.
People love him.
People love him.
I saw Molly Shannon every evening. My wife watches that day's Today Show, so she was on the Today Show like Friday or last Thursday because they were doing lead-ups to this. Or maybe it was Willie Geist on Sunday. I
Oh,
can't
my God.
recall.
Gosh, she
Willie
loves
Geist
Willie
is
Geist.
everywhere.
She loves Willie Geist. She loves Willie Geist, folks.
Wasn't he hosting the
He was one of the red carpet
last
guys.
night?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was a really corny, it was really cheesy, and it was just Molly Shannon talking about her time, and they were just going over some of the sketches, and I thought it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Like, it was really dopey and
Cool.
gay and whatever, but it was just, I don't know. It seemed great. Just
She's
talking
funny.
about the memories. I love Molly Shannon. They had some deep thoughts by Jack Handy. That was cool.
Good.
And then, if you even call this a controversy, it's mostly just an online thing, but Tom Hanks pulled out his MAGA hat character that I think he did it in 2020.
Yeah. On Black Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Doug.
And so, yes, online there's a little bit of
What, you're just not supposed to
backlash on that.
acknowledge
Yeah.
those people exist, or
You can't make fun of it.
Well, can you make fun of a huge forehead and small hands? Like physical deformities?
You can make fun of that.
yeah? Where does
Yes.
where does the ableist draw the line?
Yeah.
Right. Because they don't like cancel culture.
Yeah,
So we're not going to watch you anymore, and we're going to boycott you.
Yeah, there was a couple strained moments like that. Like Mike Myers was in a scene, and I think it might have been for Coffee Talk.
Linda Richmond.
And he, gave an opinion of like, can I just say something? The progressive era was neither progressive nor an era. I said it. It's like, they fucking get it, Mike Myers. We get it. You think this whole I don't know. I know that it happens, but crotchety old comedian who's mad about the way comedy is now, it just doesn't work for
Well,
me.
there's a lot of people in the audience last
Yeah,
night
I
who
know.
were feeling that probably because there was not a lot of olds getting time last night. And there was in the 40th, although there was way fewer sketches in the 40th. The 40th was maybe 4 or 5 sketches. Last night there was like 10.
Yeah.
But it was more retrospective.
It was more pre-packaged stuff. Like I liked and I liked that they went a little different. They did like a physical comedy thing, and it was like 2 minutes, and it was short. I thought the digital thing was good with Andy Samberg, and just clowning on everyone for having. I mean, it's very inside. I mean, it's like they were all doing the show for themselves a little bit.
A lot of the jokes were like that. A lot of writer jokes. A lot of
how
jokes
Norm
about
or how Lauren acts or this
yeah,
and that.
or about
yeah.
the nurse or the their version of like Bill Geiger or something.
I thought a lot of Adam Sandler's song was that too,
Yeah, it was.
but I did like it a lot.
I mean, he was mentioning like directors and people behind the scenes at the end of it.
Yeah. It was all about 50 years of this and that.
4 of Kazarinsky and Klingon, 11 of Armisen, 14 years of Davis and Handy.
This part made me a little sad.
Like 25, 18 of Audrey Dickman and Davey Wilson, plus Among and Disco and Bobby Van Ryn. 30 years of Downey, 45 years of Lorne, 6 years of our boy Farley, 5 of our buddy No.
That's tough. Tough.
That is tough.
Now, I have said he's got that in his car. He can make everyone cry.
Get a
Just
little
with
Farley and a
that
little
and the
Norm.
Farley song, yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Introduced by Jack Nicholson, which I believe was only done so that we could prove he's alive.
Yeah, he's still there. He looks way. He also got to do an introduction in the 40th too. I swear he's put on 100 pounds.
Yeah, because there's people that have thought he's dead.
Well,
over the last
he
year
might
or 2 years.
be dementiaed up or something.
Yes.
Because he seemed to have a handler,
Oh, he had to handle it.
a young, nice-looking handler.
Sure.
No way.
If you're like 90, you want to have a 29-year-old woman with you at all times, I
Yeah,
think, right?
But even with handler, I wasn't certain he was
But
able to.
it seemed like she was
live-
directing him
for
to,
sure.
this is what you say, this is the time you say it now.
You're old, man.
87. Damn.
87?
I thought Weekend Update. I was glad that they let Colin and Michael do it because they've been doing it for over 10 years now. Because I thought they might just run Tina and Amy in there or something.
Why not let CQ take a run at it?
Well, Colin's fine. Colin Quinn's fine, but I don't think you think of him. But the Bill Murray.
Underrated.
I think so too.
Colin, absolutely he was.
I think he was
He's
underrated.
good, but he
just-
followed Norm.
I remember his first opening to update after Norm, and I was so ready to hate him.
Yeah.
What was it?
He just gave the bit of like, "Hey, I'm not Norm.
Yeah.
Like I get it."
And
He's like, he had like a bartender reference of like, it's the same drink. I'm gonna make it a little different. Hopefully you like it.
New York
But I remember
accent.
like watching it, him coming on and being like, "You're not."
No,
Yeah.
I was mad. I
God.
didn't like him at all.
Yeah.
For years,
he
I
never
didn't
had
like
a chance.
Yeah.
And Drew Carey's not a bad host of The Price is Right. He just followed Bob Barker. So it's like, you fucking suck, guy.
Yeah.
And it's just not his problem. But it's,
Yeah.
well, it is his problem. But I
was glad they did it,
There's
though.
maybe like 5 people on the planet who could get away with what Bill Murray did. It's like, here, for 5 minutes, I'm going to do the ranking thing, and I'm just going to make all the jokes. And I love doing the bit with, I pulled it, but we don't have to worry about plugging it in. I thought it was really
It's
good.
a lot.
Like kicking and, kicking Colin Jost in the nuts, and Colin Jost takes it all the time. It's beautiful. And then very quickly, he's like, I wish we had time to say something about Kevin Nealon and Seth Meyers. And Colin's like, well, we do have time. He goes, no, we're at 6, Colin.
Yeah, just moving through it.
And he goes up the list, and it's funny that he mentioned Chevy Chase, who they famously hate each other, and he says, we wouldn't be able to do it without him, and that's why he's 4th. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
Bill Murray's still got it. So
Him and Steve Martin to me were,
The
hey, they can still do it.
even his
overnight.
first joke about he listed the top African American
yeah,
host was Michael Che,
Yeah.
and he's like, now the normal ones. He's like, wait, what?
I'm glad they let them do it too. Those guys have grown on me.
oh, dude, I think they're very good, and they work really dark, which is fun. I think what do you say? Norm Macdonald was number 2 on his Weekend Update rankings. The one guy who made me think OJ might have actually done it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Very good.
Just perfect. But then, I don't really need Drunk Uncle again. So, it's just a lot. There's just a lot
I
of
didn't
stuff.
mind Drunk Uncle. I'm a Drunk Uncle guy.
Yeah. He just did it so much.
Yeah.
Doesn't have much else in the bag.
Yeah, it's about all he's got, and we got a little Debbie Downer. I enjoyed Debbie Downer.
That's not too much Jimmy, but yes.
Yeah. Again, any Jimmy is a little too
Yeah.
much.
But they clearly didn't want to do things that they did at the 40th because there were no repeats. Like, people, where's Wayne's World? Things like that. They did that 10 years ago. They weren't going to do that again. I also thought they would have something for the Beavis and Butthead thing because the Beavis and Butthead sketch is
That was great.
automatic.
They've done more than one?
Legend. No, just
Okay,
one.
Gosling and Mikey
And
Day,
Gosling
right?
wasn't there, and that's probably why they didn't do it. But very quick, legendary status of a sketch and nothing. because Gosling wasn't there.
There's definitely one thing I'd like from the last 10 years for us to just kind of act like it didn't exist, and that's Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Boy, he'll get forced into something.
Can we
Yeah.
wipe that one clean, do the Men in Black click deal, and just act like we didn't do Hamilton?
But it was such a
culturally?
cultural thing. That's why they brought that in, right?
I know.
But yeah, no,
I just don't need it. I think it was a dark time for us as a country.
I thought it was cool to see Larry David in the crowd, only in the sense that the legendary Larry David story is that he quit SNL. That's where the Seinfeld storyline comes from, George quitting his job at the Yankees and then going back to work on Monday. Because Larry David, I guess, did that after a show. And Mother effed everybody there and told Lauren off and said he's out and quit. And then he went back to work on Monday.
Beautiful.
And just showed up.
Well, speaking of that too, the great gag was that Lovitz had to be at the American Girl doll store across the street
Seating. Yeah.
so Elaine could have her service dog, but the service dog's blind. But on Arrested Development, remember she plays a blind person with a service dog. So I thought that was like a little bit of a nod to Arrested Development. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not.
For the
She still looks great.
She does the joke about the writers.
Yeah, that was good.
How we couldn't do anything without them, and then they were outside in the rain.
Yeah, and I had just watched the Writers episode. So there's a Writers episode. There's
this documentary.
Writers episode, audition episode, The Weird Year, which is 12th season, 85, or maybe it's 11th.
Yeah.
And then there's an entire episode on the more cowbell sketch,
That's
which at the
great.
beginning you're like, there's no way, and they actually pull it off in a not totally annoying way. But there's an episode on the writers, and boy,
Dude,
talk about some people Blake needs to hang out with. Just bitching. Just everything about their job is the worst, and it's like, dude, this is a great gig, you know?
that show's impossible.
It is impossible, but it's also like, I just wish they would be having fun doing it. Like, every writer you talk to is like, this is hell. You know, I think I have PTSD. It's like, dude, you're writing come on. Crank a little Adderall, stay up for 24 hours on Tuesday, write some funny shit, and then party.
Dude,
That
you were in court. That sounds incredibly fun.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like sitting in front of the judge and going through litigation? That sounds awesome. You should have had fun doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying this is like
What I see on TV, it looks badass. You in front of a jury?
But they're like, I'm saying it's a fun job. Like, being in front of court nobody's like, boy, what's the fun version of that? Their job, and I'll tell you something else. The writers don't seem like funny people in the show.
Yeah.
They're like playwrights and poets
Yeah.
who understand like structure of a scene
And how to write for people.
how to write for people, but they're not exactly the funnest. Like, hey, where's the Coke?
Yeah, are they the fun guy at a party?
Yeah, it didn't seem like it.
I also never think about the architecture.
Oh my
and
God, that part is
engineering
crazy.
of the sets. That part blew me away because it's just I don't think about that because if
No,
I would have done
you're talking about the documentary.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you could see it even last night. After you've watched the documentary, watching the show feels different. Just watching the way that they wheel stuff in and how quickly they get people on and off. But I mean, I didn't realize the writer of a sketch is basically in charge. Once you get like, hey, we're picking your sketch, you got everything.
direct the director.
So you're going to the costume department and the set department, and they've got like blueprints. Like you're designing a house. And they're like, this is going to be over here. And the writer's like, I think it'd be better if this was turned, this piece of equipment was turned this way. And they'll go over the different prosthetics with them.
Oh, my God.
Like, it's crazy. The writer's in charge of that.
There's so many cheat codes. Like if you want to get a sketch on, don't write a door into your sketch
Yeah.
because it's too hard to engineer a door on
Oh.
a set. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's the best part of all this is just like the hours of SNL content that we've got. All of that outshines what happened last night.
There you go.
100%. I mean, I think the funniest thing from the weekend happened Friday night, which is on Peacock. I'll give you my password later if you want it.
Is it
But-
Backstreet Boys?
Well, that was weird. That was very weird. But it was Will Ferrell and on a guest star doing the Culps, the old high school music teachers,
Yeah.
and
Bobby Moy.
they're going through. And what I realized is because of music and copyright laws, they never got a chance to have like a second life on YouTube like some old sketches have. because of what they're doing. They're just, they're taking songs and basically playing little instrumental versions of them.
Yeah, we're finding out about those laws as well.
It's brutal. It's
Those
brutal on those
copyright
streets.
laws.
You got to find someone who can make music.
Was it last night or was it? I've been watching other content too. Did they show the Sinead O'Connor ripping up the Pope last night?
They aired that on Saturday night on NBC. Now that was the documentary that Questlove did, the
Okay.
SNL music documentary,
Then
which
I
is
must
great.
I must have tuned in just for that part or something.
Yeah.
They were really getting in depth into that. And that
You need
seemed-
to see all of that too, because they get into everything that's where the Ashley Simpson voice.
Okay, I saw that too.
Lip sync
so I must
thing.
not have watched. But yeah, just the whole how she did it, how they did it in dress rehearsal. She had a picture of I think it was a child. She was going to hold a picture of a child up because she
Yeah.
wanted to talk about world hunger or something. And
How's that doing?
they're all like, I don't know that many people are hungry anymore.
Good.
Now I am getting a little bit of. We haven't eaten. Usually we started the show too early today.
Oysters.
All right. Where's those oysters?
Oh yeah.
That's what I was wondering, because when they
Well,
played,
give me 2.5 hours. I'll go make some oysters.
when they played "Nothing Compares to You" last night, in my head I was like, "Is Miley about to rip up a picture of Trump?" I was like, "Is she about to do that?" That documentary is great. They have the moment that Dave Grohl mentioned to Christopher Walken the emphasis of Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
They've got the audio.
Yeah, like
never
when
before
they film
seen audio.
promos, when you see like the
Foo
five,
Fighters.
5 second cutaway, you hear Walken be like, "No, where's the accent on this one?" And Novoselic starts to say Foo Fighters, and Dave's like, "No, it's Foo Fighters."
Okay, so he just lied to him on purpose?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And it seemed like as Dave Grohl started to tell this story, I'm like, no way, this is just the sort of thing people. And then they cut to the clip,
Yeah.
like the behind the scenes clip, and he's like, "It's Foo Fighters." And Walken's like, "Okay."
It's so good, man.
One of the bad, I had to start that late, but I think it's on demand still.
Yeah.
But on YouTube TV, you do discover if you just hit SNL for add SNL, it won't do the SNL special show.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
God.
Does anybody follow me here?
No, I know. I
I'm
mean,
with you on that.
It's just a beat.
Sounds like
I
war.
want all the stuff associated with SNL.
Who won?
Who won?
The bracket from last night.
What bracket?
Well,
did you have a bracket
of the
for-
night?
Has anyone been relegated?
I'm telling you, no, there were no points. And by the way, your representation texted me. I think that because Steve Martin was the monologue host, he should count. And I was like, no, I made the rules like at the beginning of the season that the SNL 50 episode won't count.
Yeah.
So
come
Chris
on, what is this?
Spinks
A bonanza?
Who got?
His Dan's Speaker of the House,
My
Chris
GM,
Spinks,
who did
He's
the
like,
drafting.
But in the Old Testament, it would be, and I'm like, dude, no, you're not getting a point for that.
Did anyone hit the daily double?
No one's at the Daily Double yet. There are a couple possibilities, though. I mean, Dan's Daily Doubles are
No one had Chalamet?
Leon Bridges and Bill Belichick. You think Belichick's going to host SNL?
I don't hate that.
That was my sleeper.
I don't hate that.
My 2-pointer, right?
Yeah, my buddy Jesse, who used to work at Kimmel, he had Timothy Chalamet, so he got the 2-pointer there. But yeah, no, that's not bad, Dan. Leon Bridges and Bill Belichick, that's possible. TC had Nathaniel Rateliff and Phineas. TC's got no points. It's not looking good for him.
How's Phineas?
Dana Carvey wasn't there last night either. Phineas is
That's interesting.
I said, how is he? How's he doing?
He does that podcast with David Spade, and David Spade was there.
Yeah.
I liked David Spade's bit of being over the musical. It's a
What did
good
he say?
line.
Like, I get it.
I got a good feel for it.
Yeah, I definitely felt that. Like, this bit too long.
Well, I think that's the thing is like if you haven't been watching SNL for the last 10 years, you don't know that Mulaney comes back and hosts and does a New York musical every time. It's like the sixth one he's done. So, there's a lot of people going, "What the hell's this?" I just wanted to watch, Farley, old clips of Farley and stuff.